somewhat back there in these streets. We'll do a quick check-in. We won't call it the weekly check-in, but the chaos. So we'll give it some minute to warm up, show some of our meager progress, if you want to even, I don't know if I can call it progress, as we get this rolling. Checked in on a few chats today. We'll comment on the economic situation and the status of El Presidente's big plan, El Jefe and his plan. See who we got here. Somebody checked in. Somebody get a thumbs up at least. Hit that thumbs up. Do all the things. Like, comment, subscribe. Oh, is that the moon? I guess it has to be the moon. It wouldn't be the sun, right? Half moon. So what's going on out there in the YouTube land? Has everybody enjoyed what was it called Wednesday? Was it Wednesday the tariffs went into place? They called it Liberation Day. Give me a sign if I'm coming in 5x5, whoever's out there in the chat. Make sure I can see the chat, see who checks in. The moon, I see the moon sees me as we hit sundown. There we go. What's up, Cindy? What's right place, right time? That's right. This is the right place at the right time. So we're out here. Check it out. We were in the garden doing our hydrological testing. So I've got a good majority of it laid out. Testing all the lines to see what our progress is and that we get things in place appropriately without flooding the place. And still got some adjustments to do, but and I gotta get some longer lines here in the middle. So I'm just getting it all laid out. I need to get stuff in the ground. I'm definitely behind on some of the colder stuff, but hey, that is what it is. So we're doing hydrological testing. I think it's the professional term, right? Testing a water line. So that's going down. And definitely with the status of everybody's retirement plans, you better be growing something because you're going to starve if you're relying on that retirement plan, it looks like. Let's get to the topic at hand. That market drop on Thursday and Friday. I guess it started Wednesday even. Chaos in the streets. People are predicting a Black Monday tomorrow. Seems to be the topic at hand. So be aware, be forewarned on that. If you're exposed and have concerns, definitely be aware of that. And if you have a buying opportunity, it's kind of the way to look at it. If you're looking at gold and silver, if you're tracking the gold and silver market, let's get you guys back connected here. So I think I just rambled off for a little bit and nobody heard me. Back to the moon. Hey, what's up, Elizabeth? How you doing? What's up? The moon is up. Sun is down. The stocks are definitely not up. But if you check out the futures, don't look at your 401k if you still have one. I think that's been the advice everybody's been given. But what does it all mean, right? Like, remain calm, nothing to see here. Is that where we're at with this whole process? I know I am definitely get in the garden and get the other things in place so that you don't have to worry about the stock market, ideally. Ducks fighting. Can't keep the peace around here. What's up, They Live? How's things? I know you're watching the market. But that silver market in particular, all over the place. So I don't know if this is just a bounce to go back down. So be cautious in your buying spree to get things on sale, because there was so I mentioned going below 30 a couple weeks ago on silver, and and I think I mentioned in that video, I forgot who had told me that, who had been talking about silver going below 30, but it was the bald money guy. He's actually out of Poland. I think he's an expat or whatever. But he had mentioned that a couple weeks ago, and we got below 30 Friday, and we were really low just a couple hours ago, and now it's bounced back above 30. But he had mentioned in particular the test line being down around 26 something. So stay frosty for those type of market moves and plan accordingly. Don't get all hyped up. If you're in the need to sell, you're definitely kind of in a pinch, I guess. But if you don't have to and you can buy, take an opportunity to buy. Right, sales should be coming down the pike tomorrow morning. Yeah, exactly. They live back above 30. Last I saw it just a minute ago. So, but yeah, everybody's 401k plan is definitely at risk. It sounds like tomorrow morning, depending on how it goes down. So anybody got to look in on the futures right now? I can't look at it directly. Cindy's all money's in beans, coffee beans. Got to have that coffee, right? Cindy and her coffee. I've been warning you about that coffee line. I told you. it's so on the Twitter, we've been looking at. This is months ago. We were talking. Somebody was sharing something about the market in coffee from the 70s, 76 to 80, and how it trended up and gold followed versus what's happening today. And it's almost like a mirror. It is like the exact same thing. The commodity of coffee following gold and gold following. It's bizarre how closely mimicked it is, and coffee's at an all-time high now. So if you've got a chance to buy beans, I guess stock up on them because they're going to get scarce, or people ain't going to be able to afford their coffee. Starbucks coffee is going to be $10 coffee. I don't know, is Starbucks already $10? I don't know. I haven't been in a while to a place like that. But just bizarre how things like that, history repeats somewhat, but it definitely rhymes with that situation. So all commodities are definitely ideally more handy than some of the paper products that might be out there, or people who tell you to be worried about. People tell you to get in on this, and make sure you got your NVIDIA. Bitcoin was down below 80,000. Speaking of digits on a computer. So I don't know what exactly people think they're going to use those for, but I guess it's a buying opportunity. Maybe 420 Homestead will come in here and tell us all about it. I haven't seen him in a minute. There was somebody else I was thinking about. Oh, the hydrology. On my hydrology testing, I was thinking about Chance. He's a water guy. I think he could tell us all about hydrologic testing and tell us about how that works out in the real world, not just in the small scale that we're operating on here. But yeah, definitely spring has sprung. We talk about weather being the foremost thing in your of life every day, and it's like spring. It's definitely spring. 70 degrees. We're talking about people complaining about being in the 60s the rest of the week. Like, yeah, I think it's definitely spring. So doing all the outside things is definitely on par. Help keep your mind off that supposed digits on a computer, or that market thing that you missed or got in trouble with. Folks out in the east and the south, tornadoes, flooding. Yeah, always watching what the weather's coming in, right? What's up, Stefan, in Europe? I call that high noon. Oh, what's up, Stefan? You see the moon back there? Yeah. Right. But yeah, looks like I got a rando in the chat. I got nobody in to back me up here, but that's all right, I guess. We'll work it out. We'll move along. Move along. Nothing to see here. But would be interesting to see how things shake out with the tariffs thing, and that they always say the economic thing always leads to war at some place, and everybody's been pushing for that. So we know who the father of chaos is, and want to avoid any chaos in your life if possible. So stay with the tried and true. Looks like we got some moths coming about now. Definitely warming up. Um, what's going on out there in Europe, Stefan? I guess you got firsthand knowledge, but with all these tariff thing, is it thinking people are really going to have some effect? Um, I guess who was it? Lily, Survival Live. You know who that is? Talking about how the German and EU situations with prices and everything is definitely putting a crimp on people's activities already, or her plans at least, and whatnot. But man, I don't know. I guess it's one of the things you prepare before. Forewarned is forearmed, fair armed. How's that stay and go? Hopefully, everybody was armed ahead of time this year and prepared. And while we redacting messages, what's going on over there? Hey, there's what's up. Becoming dangerous. Checked in. Did you get some of that flooding stuff out there? I was just talking about Kentucky or southeast and tornadoes and flooding. It's like the weather situation continues to pile up. It seems like on some people. Definitely hope you guys got out unscathed. Doesn't sound like everybody's out of the woods yet either. Where was there an earthquake? So that earthquake last week. What else were we talking about since then? Been rather peaceful around here. Everybody was talking about these supposed protests yesterday. The billionaire organized chaos events that didn't amount to much of anything. Pretty much up here, it looked like they imported a bunch of Californians to go to Carson City to team up with the few communists they could scrape together to go out in front of the Capitol yesterday and complain about all the free government stuff they should be getting. And that's what it's coming down to. It's coming down to people thinking that they deserve what's really not there. You know, there's stuff that's just not. People need to. I think we talked about it. We talked about it last summer. Are people ready for what they're voting for? Because if you're ready for what you're voting for, you better be preparing even harder. Because what you're voting for is economic depression, recessions, war, all these things that if you're not prepared, you're definitely going to suffer through. Stefan, it's 4 a.m. What are you doing up at 4:47? Goodness, that's a little early for me. I don't even get up that early. But hey, if you got to do the things, getting up early has got to get things done. But I think all the good advice everybody's thrown out there over the years is definitely coming into use for a lot of people, or hopefully people are putting it to use if they need to. Not everybody does need to put it to use, but it only ends in violence. It does seem that way, doesn't it? And it's going to be staged in a way to empower certain people. I think that's the big thing you got to look out for. The empowerment of the evil ones. You know, they're the ones who are going to try to take advantage of everything and increase control and strengthen their grip over all of us. You know, lots of movement. Diego Garcia says they live. Yeah, I think that has to do with a lot with what they're doing in Yemen with the Houthis and everything, and that what they call a punitive campaign, I guess. Just is it just the leading edge, because that's a direct line to attack Iran next. It's kind of the thought behind that, you know. So it definitely seems like war's on the table, but it's kind of incremental. And I've said for a long time, the economic situation is the real situation. The the stock market isn't real anyway. It's all just made up numbers to a large degree that they force everybody to gamble into. It was so overinflated. It's like, talk to me when the stock when the Dow is 18,000 value. We're still just playing it in right now. Controlled demolition, right? I think we've talked about. Trump is just managing the bankruptcy at this point. You know, Trump is just the one in charge of the collapse, appropriately named. You know, or not. We'll see how it shakes out. But I definitely wouldn't put faith and trust in him. Um, a lot of people are way too wrapped into the saver mentality of these dudes. It's like, man, did you not pay attention the last 20 years? It's like when I was 18 and 20 with Reagan Bush, I kind of, got it. You get sucked into that. I get it that you kind of had, but when you got these like special people that are wrapped up in these protests yesterday, they're 70 years old, and just because they were promised something, they get all in on you for they're taking my promises. You're taking my that's not the that's the money I gave into Social Security. Yeah, the government stole everybody's Social Security. You're not the only one. All these promises were empty promises just to get you to vote a certain way or whatever. Hey, what's up, Liberty Breeds? What's up? Well, how you doing? I don't like to call it truthing. I just like to call it observing. But rantings of a madman is also another way to say it. Wayne says, I feel like the Doge thing is just to clear up some cash for mini nuke plants to power all the AI systems. Well, there's a conspiracy for you. I like the idea of mini nuke plants, though. It's like nuke is like the one clean energy source that everybody should have in their home. If we all just had a little reactor in our own little home, you just buy it, and that's a one-time cost, and you're free of the grid forever. That's what they don't want. They don't want you to. They want you to be on that payment plan, so you're continually relying on somebody else. So however that works, however they can put it together so that you're always paying the man to support yourself. Like that's the one thing about being off grid with so many people. Like at least they're able to get away from that monthly payment plan of whatever it is. Uh, definitely anything you can do to get off the grid at this point is step in the right direction. I'm way behind you if you are stepping in that direction, unfortunately. Um, no comment, Stefan, right? Yeah, who was talking about it? Oh, I know what it was. I watched a video yesterday. Colonel McGregor retired. He's a retiree from I think back in the 70s or even 80s, and he was on a show, a financial show. It's called IT and Trading. Daniel Carbone, I think is her name, did the interview. It's a financial focus. He did a really good breakdown of the financial needs of China and what their kind of goals are and what the viewpoint of the world is and how the US's chaos policies are really impacting the way they make decisions on and really that so many places are just trying to get the US out of their hair uh, in a lot of ways, thinking ancient. You're talking about ancient civilization thought processes. It's pretty good. And he kind of got into the whole imperialism of uh, what the U.S. has kind of put in place with all the chaos and warfare over the decades, and how that has impacted the East and the Middle East and you look at Iran and the Persians and the history of the Chinese, and it's like we're just a blip in the wind that has missed our mark as far as what our potential was versus what we've pushed things towards. We've been a tool more than we have been a leader, I guess you'd say. Wayne says they're building a new mini reactors on Oak Ridge. Is that right? For the AI stuff? Yeah, I can see how that definitely powers the AI stuff. Um, but if I can get a if I get something like a mini fridge size nuke for my house, like isn't that a good trade out? Okay, Liberty Bleeds, I'm talking about Daniel Carbone. Yeah, and it was yesterday. If you go look at that IT and Trading or search that, and you can see that Colonel McGregor interview yesterday. It was about an hour long, but he went through the whole thing and just how China views Taiwan and the imposition of the U.S. and kind of the bigger picture of the way the U.S. chaos policy has affected Russia's decision making. And again, they're 1,000 years old compared to us. Stefan, you were around from guys coming back from Vietnam? You were around back then? No, you were that old. I thought you were kind of my age, like that or something. Um, so yeah, and, I think he talked about the tariff policy and how it's a hood, smoke and mirrors in a lot of ways, and it's not totally truthful. He's using congressional approval to impose reciprocal tariffs. He's kind of playing word games with it when, yeah, they're trying to account for reciprocal tariffs being including a trade deficit, which will never be made up in a lot of ways. Since yeah, just trying to manage the slow collapse uh, of the U.S. in particular. Um, yeah, the drugs thing from Vietnam. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, Danielle's does some good stuff, and that was kind of a one-off. I mean, obviously they focus on the financial stuff most of the time, but that interview with him talking about the world stage was really good. Which had some tie-ins to the financial system and the tariffs and everything, but the breakdown over history and just the kind of the perspective he had uh, reminded me of a few things and put a new few things in there of, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense the way this kind of gets put together. All right, Wayne Guns put out an interesting video. I hadn't watched it. I saw the thumbnail. I didn't get to watch it yet. I was watching Rule the Wasteland, and my son called, and so I got distracted on the phone call. So definitely got that, put that on the watch list today. See what Gunn said. I think it was it was kind of a low key title, so I can't remember exactly what it was. I was like, oh, that's kind of low key. It's not like it's not like Hair on Fire type of title. It was just like here we are. So we'll see what that's all about. But hopefully he's got his retirement plan secured still. Um, see what happens tomorrow. I think the tomorrow being an interesting day to see how CNBC and all the people spin this to anything other than a banker power play to assert control and get their way. Yeah, history doesn't get. Oh, now they're fighting. Calm down. History doesn't get mentioned enough, right? Not enough people know history, a little less the mention of it. like most people don't even know who George Washington was or whoever. You try telling Benjamin Franklin was an important figure, they're like, Ben who? People just don't know anything. And we're on our 250th anniversary, and it's like if people can't even comprehend the things that have went down in the last 250 years that have taken us away from the way we were being guided and the way we should have been going. And here we are, 250 years later, just way off the mark from what could have been a great purpose. Hey, what's up, Steve? Good evening. Steve put out a good video about wearing your gear properly and using it properly on Friday. How did you title that? I was laughing because Steve said, make sure you know how to get online and why. And I was just like, that's got a double meaning for so many people. People are like, I know how to get online and do word searches and stuff, and search AI and do all the things online. Steve's talking about get online and why you would for the attack purposes. I exactly got it, but I thought that was funny, Steve. I was just out here doing the things when I was listening to that, and I just laughed. So that's why I made that comment, because it's just like cracked me up. That has a double meaning nowadays. All right, have a great one, Liberty Breeds. People are willfully ignorant. Way too many, right? People just get told, do what they believe what they're told, right? They just go along with whatever they're told, and they call it good. Like, okay, the TV told me this, the box, and I don't need to worry about anything else. People don't read their history for sure, or even the little things, like what is real money? What is money? I don't know. You even bring that up, like, well, it's those things on the computer that tell me how much is in my bank account. Okay, yeah, you keep believing that. See how that works out for us in the long run, because that's definitely where we're going, even more so. Uh, does this event we're in right now lead to uh, the digital CBDC? Well, it's definitely going to lead to more digits, because I can only imagine that they're going to increase rate cuts and pump more money in the system to avoid any sort of crash tomorrow or this week or next month or however they play it out. Anything they can do to give the central bank more power. And people think these tariffs is Trump's way of trying to build up America when he's just handing it over to the bank. Steve said, that's why I said it too. Too many cool dudes don't know the simple stuff. Remain online. Yeah. You keeping your dispersion. What is appropriate dispersion for the terrain you're in? Is it eyesight? Is it voice? All the little things, right, Steve? Definitely matters. Knowing when and how and why. You want good dispersion. We're talking good dispersions for casualty producing devices. If casualty producing devices aren't the most important thing, you might want to be closer together to have better communication or silent communication. Or you might want to, have better visuals, or maybe you're searching for things, not just assaulting through the objective, right? All depends. All depends. I mean, you might just need to be spaced train features away just because you need to cover more territory with bigger dispersion. All subject to change. What's up, Adventure's Guide to the Galaxy? Adventure's Guide to the Galaxy out there putting up videos about night gardening. Here you go. Here's the moon. I just got done. Well, I'm not even gardening yet. I'm just trying to set up my garden. I started off with the hydrological survey we're trying to pump out here. I just did the water test to test my water lines and stuff, my drip system. So that's what we finished up here with the beginning of this, and now we're following the moon around, talking to you guys. Saying a lot going on today, especially tomorrow, right? Yeah, the markets tomorrow should be very interesting. We'll see how the normies take it. People who are just now becoming aware that their 401k could be at severe risk. You've got the old folks who were protesting yesterday about their Social Security being taken from them. So everybody's worried about the paycheck and the fake money that they've been promised. And learning promises aren't good for much. Wayne says, I was just watching a cool dude make a video about sniping in Appalachia. He kept referring his army experience, but built his sniper hide on top of a rock. I guess you could put rock on top of rock. I don't know how that would. I don't know that wouldn't stand out. I think that would stand out drastically. I don't know how you would blend in with a rock. I guess if you got those type of skills, I don't know if that's the best place for a hide site. Maybe an overlook site, overwatch position, or a base of fire, or an actual OP, or something you're not worried about being too covert from. I don't think I'd call it a hide site. It's all. Sometimes it's semantics. Some people just use the wrong word sometimes. But Cindy says it's predictable. The TV tells them to be afraid, so they're freaking out, right? And what happens when people have fear. People get taken advantage of, and I think that's going to see a lot of that in the next day or so. People probably get taken advantage of Friday. If you get a chance to go to the LCS, snatch up a few ounces. It's always a good thing. And they got a spot check on silver right now. Is it still above 30? It definitely went wild. It already went wild today. It went below 29, and then back above 30 just in the matter of the last few hours. Stefan says the Appalachia Trail is well known for anonymous killers. I don't remember any of those. I guess it's possible, but I don't remember hearing about them growing up. The Saint has checked in. What's up? Good to see you. Been a minute. Hope you're stacking successfully. And hopefully your stack protects you from what is going down. 3057 at this time says they live. Check. Raj, which is quite a bit higher than it was just a few hours ago. What did it close at Friday? That's closer to where it closed Friday. It was like 3075 Friday, something like that. Steve says, I'm going to try and buy cheap stocks if it goes down again. But what stocks, Steve, and for what reason? I guess Guns is kind of the go-to guy for stock recommendations. I do not play the gambling game. It just seems too much like gambling to me. I've just dabbled in it and just walked away from it. It just was not something I felt good about. But more power to you if you can put it out there. Cindy says, Planter, make money on the spy machine. They're the big spy guys. Who's the big AI guys? I guess it's all of Musk's stuff, right? He's the AI guy. Who else has got AI? That seems to be the go-to people, right? Like, people have this weird circular logic on stuff. Like, AI is the way of the future. We need to invest in it. No, AI is the way to destroy your livelihood and the way you live. You're going to invest in your own destruction. I don't get it. Like, literally, I think that's where we're at. Corsair says, stick to old stocks that have passed the test of time and pay dividends. Oh, so your big corporate stuff, GE, I don't know, IBM, I don't know. How old is old? I guess Microsoft would be included in that, Walmart. I've heard that line of thought before. I got a new spring coin show next weekend, says the Saint. So metals will be up by week's end. Right, they always go up when you get ready to go to a good buy, right? That's always the way it goes. When you're ready to drop a whole unit, it's like price is up. But it's way lower than 34 where it was earlier in the week, so it's still at a buy point. I would say I think we've talked about it in the past. I'm buying incrementally up to 50. 50 I might reevaluate, but especially with the ratio was over 100 for Friday, and I'm sure it's still similar, near 100 right now. Cindy mentioned Sam Altman and Larry Ellison. I don't know what that means, Cindy, but okay. Thiel's part of Planter, right, Stefan? Real estate ETF, says the Saint. Coke and others that over 100 years old, says Corsair, right? Yeah. The ratio was crazy, right? And I'm waiting for it to get down to 50. Yeah, too big. The ratio to 50 to 1 or the price to 50 is both of my markers, kind of, to really figure out what the next move is. The Stargate team. Oh, okay. Is that right, Cindy? I didn't know who the names were behind it. That makes sense. Well, Sam Altman went to jail, right? Isn't that the guy that went to jail? Or no? Or maybe he got out, he just paid his fine, I guess. That would make sense. The first Cokes with Coke, says Stefan. Right, Stefan? That's all. Everybody has to reference Coke and the Coke that was in the Coke. That's how you get the name, right? That's funny. All right, so I'm out here wandering around in the dark. I just wanted to check in and just wonder if it was really happening with everything going on Friday. I didn't get a chance to check in, or just been busy. Yeah, never a better time to double down on whatever you consider an important prep, because all it takes is one thing and things snap off. With either individually, somebody might have a bad fiscal day and go off the rails, or larger picture wars and rumors of wars. You don't know how that's going to affect the grid and all your infrastructure and everything else. So prepare accordingly. Oh, Sam Bankman-Fried is different than Sam Altman. Oh, okay, I see. Oh, that's okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's right. That's what I was thinking of. What's up, Boneyard? Boneyard checking in. Is Boneyard the only? Boneyard's the only moderator I've got. I need to give some of you guys moderator rights. I got to figure out how to put that in there. I haven't done moderators since I think I did the morning chat, so I need to update my moderators. But good to see you, Boneyard. We'll try to give you some help on the on that front. Yeah, keep watering the garden. I got to plant the garden right now. I was just testing the water today. I was just testing to make sure all the lines worked, and changes to some line links and stuff like that. The so I still have to hold out to. And I need to do some seedlings. I can put potatoes and peas out, some other things like broccoli, I think. But I need to get on that. I definitely need to do that. But I definitely need to get busy. Seems like I'm behind the power curve, and it's only April. Yeah, a little effect for you. They live. I knew I had a better background then. It's kind of interesting. The moon showed up in the same spot. That was kind of cool. There you go. Can I make that a cover photo? It's probably too dark. It's hard to come out with the light. There you go. Can I assign it from remote here? Okay. I just haven't done it in so long. Well, maybe. Cindy said you freeze, dehydrate, or can. We primarily freeze things. Obviously, that's not always the best when you're relying on the, you know, electricity, but we primarily do freeze stuff. We need to do some more canning. Dehydrating is mostly jerky and meat and stuff, but let me try that. Channel activity. Oh, there it is. You have to scroll down. I see. Look at that, man. Okay, let's see if we can get this going. All right. That just for that you get the assignment, Wayne. Just for giving me that info. Uh, we'll have to. Yeah, I haven't done this in a while. Okay. All right. Well, we got something accomplished here in this chat. If not just me running my mouth. Tick season is in full swing, so I could probably eat them. Whoa, Wayne, I don't know what that's all about. Get you some guineas. Get you some guinea hens, Wayne. They'll definitely help you out with that if you got a tick problem. Boneyard's been real busy, getting proactive lately, training hard. All right, sounds like a plan right there. I definitely could use some training myself. Not that I think it's probably the most important thing, but it's definitely a perishable skill. Perishable skills are perishable. Tick season. Don't eat ticks. That just sounds bad. I can't do that. But that's the one good thing about it up here. We don't really have that problem. And with as many guinea hens as I've got, it's even better. I don't really have that problem. Regardless, I think been here 20 years. I think dogs have had ticks like 3 times. I found a tick on a dog, something like that. So we do pretty good in that avenue. I haven't seen a scorpion this year, which is kind of unusual. I didn't see any last year either, and it's kind of weird. You know, the year before last we had the big frog infestation, but I haven't seen scorpions, and I don't know why. I don't know if the birds are kind of keeping the chickens and everybody is keeping them at bay. I don't know if they kind of keep the scorpions population down. But definitely something weird with no scorpions. Haven't seen a snake. Did I see one last year? So the pest, predator life, it's kind of thin. It seems like with the characters like that. Boneyard says this ticks suck here. Get bit under your tack vest every summer. Right. Yeah, East Tennessee's bad for ticks. Yeah, I know, Wayne. I grew up having to make sure you pulled your ticks off before you come in the house. Had to do at least a check. If you just walk in the woods or out in the high grass, you're definitely at risk. Dogs are always having to pull them off and stuff. Definitely familiar, but not out here. It's not a problem. All right, folks. That's enough of me running my mouth. Just be aware. I don't know if tomorrow's the day, but it's definitely stay frosty and keep your eyes and ears open and focus on what's outside your front door. Don't worry about the chaos on the big box and what Jim Cramer says, I guess. I don't know what he's going to be saying, but he was already predicting that tomorrow's going to be another 1987. And it's like, okay, he's hyping that up for some reason. He didn't just say that just because, he's not trying to keep people at peace. He's definitely trying to get people in a certain state of mind. So it makes you wonder what his real agenda is there. You could say it a different way other than referring to one of the worst, one of the worst fiscal economic crashes, that we've had in a long time. And I think we were already at that. If the futures markets play out tomorrow morning the way they say they are, it's definitely looking like it's going to match up to that 1987 drop based upon the last 3 days. So stay aware, stay vigilant, like you say, Boneyard. There we go. We had to plan on it getting worse. And you guys have a good week if we don't see you somewhere else. Steve's got his chat tomorrow morning. Sorry, Steve, I think I didn't even get to watch your Monday morning chat. My bad. But appreciate you dropping in here. We'll try to catch you on the replay tomorrow. It's one of those things where you're doing the things on Monday, don't get to catch the live very often. So you guys have a good week and stay frosty. Stay alert, stay alive, prep hard, live free, pray hard, and we will see you all later. Thanks for checking in. If I can remember how to turn this thing off.